Yeah, we are going through a quick module revision. I just wanted to run through all the chapters because for your exam, all the chapters will be covered anyway. And then we will go for a quick exam briefing and guideline, right? It's been finalized in terms of the date and time and the format of your exam as well. And towards the end, I just want to open up for Q&A for submission, because all of your group submission will be by the end of today, which is tonight. All right, so I've already uploaded a revision document. It's in the same folder. It's under general, the general channel and under files. Right? Okay, I can suddenly hear myself. I wonder who was that. Okay, you have muted yourself. So it's under the same folder, right? It says lecture tutorial assignment. I've added one here at the end of January. And if you click on the document, it's basically a PDF that gives you all the details of each of the topic area. Yeah. And now all of a sudden I can't open this. All right. So we're going to run through this chapter by chapter. Okay. All right. So if you notice on the left, the first topic that we've covered for the semester was Introduction to Technology, right? So there were a few terminologies that you may have not heard of before. Now, remember, of course, because this module is called Perspectives in Technology, there are a lot of different perspectives that can be taken. Yeah. So we have, of course, identified certain angles and perspectives that we are taking for the purpose of this module as well, right? So when there is a definition of the technology, when we highlight in terms of the importance of the technology as shown here, and when we spoke about different classifications of the technology, there is a specific one that we mentioned about here. But I do remember highlighting it to you that there are some of you that may be answering certain questions with a bit more general answers. Yeah, so you may not necessarily be wrong, but you then need to understand that you will most probably not get the full marks out of it. So that's the other thing that, of course, you need to be made aware of. Yeah. So we covered there are all these different areas of classification of technology. What's considered new, what's considered emerging, what is high, medium, and low, and of course between codified and also tacit technology. Yeah. So these 7 areas are the 7 different classifications that we went through. All right. There are examples that you can give with them as well. So of course, those will be just as important. And towards the end, we covered in terms of what is the nature of technology. And there is always the discussion, or rather the debate across these 2 areas, which is pure science versus applied science, right? What's the difference? What they are for? What are they motivated by? What is the level of application that is involved? So overall, this is introduction to technology, right? It's a bit more straightforward. Point number 3 and number 4 has definitely covered the main area of what introduction to technology is about. Of course, on top of the definition of technology. Now, don't forget, when you're defining technology, there is quite a range of words that you should be using, because technology is being reflected as such. It's not just a tool, it's not just a technique, it's not just a skill, it's not just knowledge, it's not just a know-how, it's a combination of all this. Yeah. So when you're explaining about technology, always bear that in mind. With the right definition, you know what examples to give. With the right definition, you will then be able to explain and elaborate further. Yeah. That is how important, of course, knowing what the definition is for a particular terminology. So that's chapter 1. We are done with chapter 1. Chapter 2, we went into types of technology, right? The different types of technology. Of course, again, like I said, there is a lot that you can find out there. Yeah, the list can be non-exhaustive. It can be a very long list that you can keep adding on in relation to the different types of technology. But what you see here, of course, there are point number 1 and number 2. One talks about the categories of technology. That's a term, that's a particular term that we use. And the second one is types of technology. And we go into 6 types of technology overall. Yeah. So this is, as an introduction, this was being discussed about some technologies that has been obsolete, some which are not used anymore. some which are currently widely available and everyone is using it. And of course, there are the ones where you go a bit into the future and they are considered a bit where emerging technologies appear, which is the last point down here as well. All right. Now, when this was being introduced to you in relation to the 6 different types of technology that we covered, now, the questions that we normally ask in the exam as well, it will revolve around these 6 areas. Yeah, it will revolve around these 6 areas. The question will not necessarily go out of these different types of technology, because as I've highlighted earlier, if we really want to list out all of the types of technology, that's going to be a very long list, and it's definitely unfair to ask you questions about certain types of technology that we did not necessarily cover extensively, or even cover to begin with. Yeah, so that's why the whole idea is that you will know these areas, you know what their examples are about, you know in what areas are they being used for what purpose are they then there, and so on and so forth. Right? So that was types of technology. Of course, when it goes into emerging, it's just for you to identify some trends, which is something that you're already doing now. And anyway, when you look into your own future of your own technology, emerging technologies as well, meant to cover all that. If you do a search for this, you will always find that the list is quite similar as well. Everyone talks about AI, everyone talks about machine learning, everyone talks about IoT, everyone talks about 5G. Yeah, it always goes back and revolve around those similar areas. So there's nothing that you will need to be worried too much that there are certain emerging technologies that you're not aware of. At least understand the ones which are currently emerging, right? And being able to know what they are for and what their purpose is. Of course, we go to chapter 3. This was when we spent a bit of time with biotech. Yeah, so to me, this is the more fun topic, simply because there is so many different areas of biotechnology, right? We started off by comparing across traditional and modern type of technology, biotechnology, right? So of course, when it comes to the traditional one, all of us will definitely remember when it comes to fermenting, when it comes to traditional breeding, on how that basically works. Of course, when it's being modernized, the most popular technology that came out of biotech is definitely recombinant DNA. Yeah, so things are genetically being modified, genetically being created for certain things that we have today. Yeah. The main areas of biotechnology. So when we were covering this topic, I did highlight about other colors as well. Some of you will definitely remember gold biotechnology and so on and so forth. But these are the 6 areas that we are definitely focusing on too. Yeah. There is definitely a multiple choice question in for biotech, that's for sure. Yeah, it's always a go-to topic when it comes to identifying multiple choice questions here, because as you can see, there are 6 different areas of biotechnology. They are quite different, right? And at the glance here, I would like to start asking questions and pulling some of you out to then identify what is yellow, what is gray, what is green, which one here covers marine applications, which one here covers industrial application, which one here covers environmental applications. So you will definitely need to be aware of those, because at the back of your mind, when you see a multiple choice question in relation to that, it's easier for you to recall, and it's easier for you to even refer to. We do understand that there is no stopping you from basically having a second device, looking at your notes and slides somewhere. But most importantly is that you must be able to easily identify from which topic does all of the questions come from. Yeah. In terms of types of biotechnology, we went through 4. So when you notice this 4 here, right, I could easily linking your information together helps you to remember lesser stuff. What do I mean by that? If you look at the 4 types of biotechnology here, you will, for those of you who sees it, you will immediately realize that, hey, the 4 types of biotechnology here all represent a certain area of technology, a certain color that is on top here, right? So when you do that, it's easier for you to remember certain things because you are covering 2 in 1. Medical biotech is also which color here? Agriculture is also which color here? Industrial is also which color here? And so on and so forth. Yeah. So of course, we only covered 4, even though that there are 6 main areas, but there are some here. The ones which are more popular are the ones that we covered instead. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that the ones which are not covered here, you do not need to look into them. You will still need to know what the examples are. You will still need to know where and how are they being used. Of course, towards the end, it's just different applications of biotechnology to look into other areas as well, to look into IT, to look in other aspects of biotech. Yeah. So that is chapter 3. And when we go to chapter 4, so 4 was covering internet, right? In the beginning, we covered in terms of what are the advantages and disadvantages of internet. Now, it's important to know both aspects of it. There can be a long list of it, but remembering at least 2 or 3 gives you a head start, right? When you need to draft your answer, we need to think about it. It's easier that you have your go-to answers is what I mean. Yeah, it's better that you have a go-to answer and you can just quickly remember, okay, let's start off with this first, because there are always considered an advantage or a disadvantage of the internet. Then adding on top of that is going to be much more easier for you. Yeah. Point number 2 is very, very, very important. Yeah, you must be able to differentiate this accordingly. The internet, the intranet, and also the extranet. Yeah, knowing how they are different, knowing how are they being used, knowing who uses them. So all those are definitely just as important as well. All right. There is definitely another question. So not just one, I think there's a few questions in relation to the internet as well. Yeah, to internet technology. So it is important here that you can differentiate the different levels of it. Same thing goes with the World Wide Web, right? So there is of course the general definition of what the World Wide Web is about. But one thing that we covered a bit more extensively is to look into the different generations of the web. Yeah, because they actually represent something which is quite different from one to another, right? From very static type of websites into website that we see today, which are very linked with each other, and it's even being referred to as the intelligent web that enables us to then gain more information just by doing things that you normally do online. Yeah. Because it is internet technology as well, towards the end, we covered IoT. Yeah, so you saw different applications of IoT, understanding what is the future scope of IoT, not forgetting there will be challenges in relation to IoT as well. Yeah, so the challenges here, of course, then highlights what are the areas, even though IoT is supposed to bring so many functionalities to us, but knowing what issues it may cause, what issue may arise from using IoT is just as important as well, right? I think this applies to all of us. If you want to use something and you only look at the good things of on what the advantages are alone, while ignoring the disadvantages, unfortunately, you may be affected by it without you even knowing it as well. So that's why identifying just as much as how much it is very useful, it is also just as important to know challenges. My point here is going to be the same with what I mentioned earlier in the advantages and disadvantages of the internet. Yes, the list may be long, but all you need to remember is at least 2 or maybe up to 3 main points first. Yeah. To be honest, in the exam, most of the time we don't ask you for give 10 different examples or give 8 different examples. It's very unlikely to go up to that kind of number, right? The most is we'll ask you to give 3, 2, which is the more common ones. Yes, we may go up to 4 or 5, but the more common ones is 2 or 3, right? So even if they're asking for 4 or 5 different examples from you, you already know 2 or 3. So you just need to then use the time to try figuring out what are the additional examples for the remaining 2 or the remaining 1. Yeah. So don't waste your time trying to remember all of them all together, but just at least certain key points from each of them. Chapter 5 is the one that can be a bit tricky. So you need to spend a bit more time here because there is a difference across when we are identifying the process technology and the design technology, right? Because both of them has its own definition. But for design technology, we took it a bit further where we look into the design process itself. Yeah. So that you must be able to differentiate across conceptual versus detailed design. What's the difference, right? If it's conceptual, just like what the word means, it is an idea, right? You basically come up with even simulations, or you basically come up with the whole idea behind what the whole concept is about first. But of course, when it comes to detail, you start realizing that you have to simulate the actual technology itself. You have to start creating prototypes. So off the top of your head, you must be able to first differentiate them in that way. So the technological design process, as seen here, that there are 7 altogether. Yeah. So identifying the needs, define the problem, research, design the solution. This will be a bit more familiar to you because you remember going through this question during the tests. I hope most of you remember that. Yeah. So knowing it by sequence is definitely important. How you intend to remember it, it really depends on what you prefer. Yeah. When I study, I always look at these and I always find a word from it and I create my own abbreviation out of it, right? So that's something that you will have to then see. So this can be this can be the needs, problem, research, solution, prototype, troubleshoot, communicating the solution, right? So then you can come up with those and see how you'll be able to remember it a bit easier. Towards the end of it, of process and design technology, we highlighted about all the crucial resources that technology needs. Yeah, technology needs itself. Why users need it in the first place is also definitely a resource, because this provides a very clear indication on why the technology is important. Yeah. People, obviously, because then they are the users, they are the ones who then basically carry out the task and require the information, require the results. So that's why people becomes a resource as well. The information that is involved, the data that is involved. Some may involve raw materials as well. Tools and machinery, of course, comes along. Energy is a basic resource for technology. So is cost and time. Yeah, so I think cost and time goes across for everyone. Cost and time is always a resource, no matter what we are talking about. Yeah, it's always becoming a resource. The life cycle. So this was something that we went through in terms of reflecting the different types of life cycles. So I've placed the words here. As you can see, we interchangeably use these words at times. Sometimes there is the word phase. Sometimes there is the word stages. Yeah. Do not worry, there is no, as of now, there is no, according to our topic, at least there is no significant difference if you use the word phase or stages. We are always referring to that 4 phase or that 5 phases of the life cycle. You can always go back to that. The 4 phase is the most common one. Yeah. Then, of course, looking at the S-curve itself, in terms of what is the progression of the life cycle against time. Yeah, and of course, time against the whole aspect of the market, the whole aspect of usage of that technology itself, the performance of that technology itself, right? So life cycle and market growth, this is something that we went through in relation to the 6 levels. So if you remember this, immediately in your head, you need to remember that bell diagram, right? It looks like a bell diagram. It goes through those particular phases. Again, you do some of these, it really takes slightly a bit of effort for you to then see that they are interlinked, right? If you notice these life cycle and market growth, they are very closely linked to the S-curve. There is the development phase, the starting phase, the initiating phase, all the way down to the maturing and declining. And that's why you see, of course, the only difference here is that you see a specific phase for the technology to be substituted, and so on. Not to forget, there is a point, I may have not spent enough time here, but looking at multiple generations of life cycle is important, right? Because it's happening a lot today. There are, I think the recent announcements is definitely more of the Chinese phones, which are all having their own range of mid-range and basic range phones, which are released recently, right? I see Vivo releasing a few things. I see Xiaomi releasing their Redmi Note 11 in the next few days, for example. And these are always being viewed as multiple generations, right? Similarly, when we look at our own processors, either if it's a processor on your phone or if you look at a processor in your laptop, they are always being looked at as multiple generations as well, right? And point number 4 is, of course, technology and market interaction. So this one is highly focusing on this area, a combined effect of technology push and market pull. What's the difference? What's the difference when we are discussing about it as a technology push? What's the difference when it is then affected by a market pull instead, where the customers are the ones that is more of your focus? Technology push is then because the technology is available. Why don't use it? Why don't you incorporate it into your own product? Yeah. A slight difference. This is only about one slide that talks about the difference across a life cycle and the product life cycle. But most importantly, it's actually not trying to reveal to you what is actually really different. It's also to show you how similar they are when you're talking both about the technology and a product lifecycle. All right. So diffusion of technology is focusing on this, which is a technology adoption lifecycle. So there are 5 levels altogether, from the very beginning of those who are innovators who will always go after technology as soon as they come out, all the way until the end. Of course, you have laggards, which are always the ones that stay back. They don't need to have the latest technology anyway. And they will always probably be the last to adopt a particular technology. So this is the difference across the different types of technology adoption, different users per se, right? Chapter 7. So we went into power and energy resources. There's a difference, of course, for both. One is power, one is energy. Remember, one is measured according to time, a unit measure of hours, right? And one more is, of course, the rate of the energy, the rate of the power that is being created. So identify the different forms of energy. Of course, these are the ones that we highlighted. Yeah, this was one that was covered. Again, there can be a mixture of others as well, but this covered most of it. Yeah. From kinetic to potential to mechanical, solar, light, electrical, chemical. Of course, there is also thermal energy, but in this case, thermal is being discussed very closely to solar energy and light as well. So there is a matter of you differentiating the types of energy here. Yeah. So the main point is, of course, your takeaway here is definitely to understand that at the end of the day, we are just trying to transfer energy. It's just a transfer of different forms of energy. Differentiating the energy resources, right? The ones which are non-renewable and renewable. Again, a very popular question to always pop up for multiple choice questions as well. And then chapter 8, we went into effects of technology. So this wasn't too long ago. It's just about 3 topics ago, where we talk about the effects of technology towards these different areas. Yeah. A quick tip here is that now the question of effect of technology may not necessarily tell you which one we are asking you about. It can be a general effects of technology question, but it is important for you to identify one area and speak about them in particularly. When you're doing that, then your examples become relevant. When you're doing that, then it gives more sense for you to then identify and to know that, okay, that's why if you were to discuss about the both the positive or negative effects, it makes sense because you are referring to something specific. Yeah. Evidently, we covered both aspects of it, which is the good effect. These were the 4 main areas that was highlighted: community life, work, health, and communication. Of course, the bad effects, these were the 3 areas that we went into. There was discussion, of course, in terms of addiction and depression, right? So there are also not just physical effects, there is also physiological and sociological effects that comes along with it as well. All right, so effects is a bit more straightforward, I would say. Then we went into business and technology, which was the second last topic. Oh, sorry, the third last topic. So there were different examples that we went into as well, right? There was discussion about how technology is being used over these different areas. Again, this may not have been a very lengthy elaboration about it, but the main areas is just to show you that they can be used in these different areas. Why is this being highlighted to you? Because then you will now realize that the different examples will apply. Yeah, and the different examples can apply in relation to what aspects are you talking about? If it's about production, what does it do? Does it increase production? Does it help to reduce level of errors in production? So those are the ones that you need to take note of. Marketing, so what has technology done there? Communication, business over the internet, which is essentially e-business, e-commerce, business globalization, how has technology helped with that as well? Yeah. Now, this one is, I might have listed it out here, but it's important for you to go back to that slide, for those of you who remember it, that slide that has that image, yeah, of the whole supply chain, from the starting of where your materials come from, all the way towards the end where your consumers and your customers are. All right. Across that whole supply chain that I will call it, right, the end-to-end process of a business, it pretty much shows you all aspects and all areas of a business, right? Of course, from the beginning, from sourcing. After sourcing, of course, you go into processing and manufacturing. If it's a service, you can go into building certain infrastructures. And then, of course, in terms of logistics and distribution, and towards the end is when it reaches your customers and your consumers. Yeah. So there are enabling technologies there. So that's why we covered something called C-commerce. There is supply chain management systems as well. There's procurement aspects as well, because again, in business, a lot of outsourcing and procurement happens across different types of businesses. This is also just as important because this is very closely related to marketing as well when it comes to CRM. So what are the implications, right? After all this, after looking at, wow, there's so many options, we can do so many things, we can improve so many different aspects of business when it comes to technology, what are its implications, right? So remember, implications here may not necessarily mean it's only positive implications. Yeah, you may even look at these and realize that there can be negative implications that come from it. Yeah, but of course, the main areas that is always highlighted here is, of course, how you can then establish an e-workforce. We spoke a bit about how remote working remotely is much more doable and feasible today. There's the digital workflow. Everyone understands a bit more clearly how things work. Technology centers, new jobs, right? Different types of titles are coming along. And of course, starting a business that can be fully virtual, right? So there was a bit of a discussion in relation to brick and mortar, click and mortar, and yeah, and of course different types of e-commerce, talking about e-tail and e-ticketing as well. Yeah, so there is quite an extent here in terms of the areas of business and technology that is covered, but most importantly is for you to then see when you want to explain something. I think it's important, like I said earlier, you choose an area to talk about and you explain in relation to that. Don't try to cover all these areas as much as you can, because that is not the whole idea when it comes to you answering the exam questions. Second last topic, which is society, ethics, and technology. Yeah. So here, of course, we look into when you are evaluating both technology and the society, what has technology done? Both positive and negative, you see here again, similar to the one here, where you look at, of course, the implications of business and technology in terms of the positives and negative as well. So you do the same thing here. But of course, there was one slide that was particularly looking into the society's intoxication with technology, right? How are we all affected? How we are all one of the areas, if you recall me explaining about, was how we are all not remembering things as much as we used to, because we don't need to, right? At the back of our minds, we know that why want to waste our brain capacity and space and storage when you know this information doesn't need to be remembered anymore. Yeah, because then with a click of a button, with a click of your screen, you'll be able to just search this information and they are immediately being displayed to you. Areas of ethics and technology, again, a very popular area in relation to questions for both the multiple choice question and also exam and also essay, sorry. Privacy issues, cyber ethical issues, cybercrime, computer technology, unethical employee activities, which includes things like, of course, you understanding in terms of surveillance and monitoring of the employees at work. Different types of cybersecurity. So I left this here because this is the easiest for you to look at a level that you are able to differentiate them. Data means something else, system means something else, network means something else, right? I'm not here to tell you what they are. I'm here to then quickly go through a revision for you to at least to trigger some parts of you to at least realize that, oh wait, I do not know how to differentiate this at all. So obviously I have to go and find out. Yeah, there's security measures. So it's not just talking about the issues and problems that we face, but of course, evidently is to highlight about what the security measures are. Now, this is the only part in the whole module where security measures can expand beyond what you only see in your slides. Why? Because towards the end, if you notice, we did cover some key security measures which are not necessarily being explained and elaborated on that much. Which basically means to you is that you will then be able to identify any security measure. Yeah. My only advice to you is when you're answering this, always look at it from a specific perspective. Are you looking at this from an individual's perspective? Are you looking at this from an organizational perspective? Yeah. There's a lot of it we covered more in relation to the business aspect of things, how organizations are handling these, right? Because for individual ones, it's probably a bit more straightforward and things are normally being done for you, right? You subscribe to your email provider does all of the things in the background. You probably have zero clue and idea that it is being done, right? For example, just a show of hands, how many of you know that all of your email providers, all your emails, yeah, all your free emails are already using encryption in your emails? Can I see a show of hands? How many of you know that? I think I'm just doing this in case, just to find out whether anyone is listening. I was a bit worried that I ended up being that Singaporean lecturer who spoke for 2 hours, and towards the end, the students told him, "Oh, we didn't hear you after the first 5 minutes." Okay, I see a few more hands coming up, which is good. So, oh yeah, not even 10 of you. Almost 10. All right, thank you. You can lower your hands. So some of you who know, then you will realize that, oh, emails are already encrypted anyway. Yeah. So all the data that is basically protected there will then be able to try safeguarding. This is the word that they always use, right? To safeguard certain parties, to safeguard certain activities that takes place. Yeah. So Asfar said that happened for real. Yeah, just go and search online. I think it's a Singaporean university, if I'm not mistaken. So I will partly blame the students as well. Yes, a lot of the fault is on the lecturer side for speaking for almost 2 hours without finding out from the students anything at all or asking the students anything at all. But for 2 hours, these students sat in front of the meeting and just waited, you know, and just waited until the end to then tell the lecturer, oh, after the first 5 minutes, we couldn't see you, we couldn't hear you, so we do not know what's going on. Anyway, where were we? Last but not least, this is the final topic. Yeah. Technology planning and technology planning and transfer. Yeah. Two very, very different areas. Connected nonetheless. Yeah, connected nonetheless. When it comes to aspects of, but these are very organizational view. Yeah, this is the only one topic throughout our whole semester that the focus is really not on individuals or on the personal level. It's only looking at companies and organizations. Yeah, as far as saying, and no one bothered asking. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't read the full story, yeah. You can go and check it out. I think some of them tried reaching out to the lecturer. They switched on their microphone. They were telling the lecturer something. The lecturer didn't hear or something like that, and then that just went on, and 2 hours passed. Anyway, okay. So the first one, if you notice, point 1, right, is the only one that talks about technology planning. You need to know the definition. You need to know the different phases and activities which are involved. Now, it looks very short, yeah, but you will need to go through the slides again because there is quite an extent of the number of phases and activities which are involved when it comes to technology planning, right? At the end of the day, it's for strategic purposes. At the end of the day, it's for innovative purposes so that you are able to decide and identify what kind of technology you want to adopt, and then coming up with a roadmap after that, coming up with how to test it, coming up with how to roll out and get everyone in the organization to use the technology, and so on and so forth. Yeah. The other one that's a bit more elaborated that we covered is the technology transfer of it. What is the definition, the aim, and of course the process that is involved as well, right? The different types of technology transfer, there were 3 different types that we covered at first. Yeah, intramural, extramural. So these are always either from outside the organization or within the organization. But on the other hand, you can also find that there can be a lot of where it moves from public researchers, right? The technology transfer from public, it can be from the government, it can be from efforts that the government has made outside of the country, bringing it in, and then taking it over to more private practices, right? This has happened in terms of many different areas. I think a lot of governments in the world are looking at doing this as well. As I think we are all aware, there are a lot of what used to be very governmental and public services. It is now being privatized, if you notice. And when you do that, research and development is a bit different. Gaining funding to do so is a bit different, and the levels of commercialization is much more effective when things are privatized. So the few examples I can think of to just quickly tell you is like how you see now it may be called public transport here in Malaysia, yeah, but a lot of our public transport are all privatized. There are specific private organizations who are running it for the government. Yeah, they are running it. Sorry, not for the government. They are running it with the government per se. Like when you look at Rapid KL, or you look at our trains, LRT, MRT, and so on and so forth, right? And also public buses and stuff like that. We call them public buses, but again, they are being privatized, right? So there is a technology transfer when it happens from things which are publicly being governed, being taken care by the government, which is then being privatized after that, and they see that effectiveness, right? In Malaysia, water, same thing there as well, right? Most governments in the world will probably want to take that up and make it something that they handle on their own, because then they can make the most money out of it as well. But then they realize it may not be very effective. So Malaysia, as an example, it is also privatized. Electricity, right? Yes, we have a national electricity board that governs everything and so on, but then the company that runs it is pretty much a private company as well. Yeah. So that is where and how you see technology transfer from public to private has been happening, and it's quite effective as well. The different categories, this was all within one slide, and it's basically just a table to then let you see the different examples. Do go through them, knowing the difference. I think there are some which are a bit more obvious. Regional, international is just across countries. Regional is then, of course, within a particular region. This can be Southeast Asia, it can be Asia. Cross-industry obviously goes from a different industry to another. Horizontal and vertical, of course, in this case, can be looked at within the organization itself. Interfirm, of course, across organizations instead. Yeah. So there is also, now this one here, number 5 and number 6, I want you to pay a bit more attention here, is that this is called the models of technology transfer. And this one is referred to as the modes of technology transfer. There are 4 models, yeah, and there are 3 modes. The easier one out of these 2 is definitely the modes, right? Whether it is passive, semi-active, or active mode. Yeah. So the modes here are basically referring to who exactly is the one wanting to receive this technology. So that's how they are being differentiated. Yeah. So if it's passive, it's more about the technology is being pushed onto the receiver. But if it's active, this is where the receiver themselves are the ones who are looking at ensuring that they want the technology to be transferred onto them. Yeah. The models, on the other hand, these are basically workflows, charts that you can actually see from the slides itself. Either do you use an agency? If it's R&D that is triggering and spearheading the transfer, the technology transfer. Some technology transfer is because we have a problem and we need to solve it, right? So this is the easiest a most straightforward model that is in place. A technology needs to be transferred and received simply because we are trying to solve a problem. Yeah. And then there's the different routes. So of course, once the modes of the models are being decided, there's many different ways the technology transfer can happen, right? The most common ones, once you see here, I think you will immediately know licensing, franchising. That's very popular here in Malaysia as well. Some are basically joint ventures, right? So you can work together in relation to coming up with better solutions. Some can be turnkey projects where it's just a copy and paste. I always call this copy and paste. Yeah. You know something work here, you just copy and paste it and put it in a different location and run it similarly there. Of course, foreign direct investment, again, this is more something that not just companies are interested, but countries are interested as well. Because the more foreign direct investment you get, the more, of course, in terms of money can, in terms of the whole aspect of GDP, it comes into the picture. Economy, the whole economy of an organization, of a country, can also be improved. Just a bit towards the end, when I say a bit here, it's actually only one slide, is looking at different types of technology trends moving forward. Yeah, which is very closely related, to be honest, when we were looking at emerging technologies as well. Yeah, so but the only difference is that the trends here are the one identifying not specific technologies, but then looking at what the technology should do instead. Yeah, as a trend. Okay, so that took me 45 minutes to finish. So our semester could have been 45 minutes. How interesting is that? Question about this document. Any questions about the document? Alam has been doing a lot of laughing today. As far as so far, no questions. Everybody is good. The most common question I get from students is that Jet says no, Uzma says no. The most common question I get from students is that they look at this, right? And they are like, and they look at me and go like, oh, wait, we thought you are going to tell us exactly which question here is coming out from which topic. The answer is definitely no. Yeah, it's definitely not. But the one thing I've done for you is definitely to highlight what are the main areas and main points of each topic that you definitely need to be aware of. Yeah, remember, a lot of these areas, they are interlinked as well. They are connected to each other as well. So you may not necessarily need to memorize them separately per se. Yeah. The questions can come from a lot of different directions. Yeah, they can come from different directions. And considering that this is going to be an online exam as well, there's actually lesser things to worry about, simply because for obvious reasons, you will still have the opportunity to try referring to your own notes, right? I'm being very open about this because we all, when we all know something is happening, not talking about it doesn't mean it doesn't happen, right? So I'm being very open about this because we know, and therefore your questions will not be as straightforward as well. Because we know if we are just asking you, so please, in the MCQ, which of the following is not a classification of technology? So it may not be just as straightforward as that. Yes, you may find some questions are still straightforward, but not all of them. Yeah, all right. So the easy thing to say out of this is that it's easy to pass, but it's not as easy, straightforward and easy to get an A. Yeah. For those of you who are aiming for a pass, I know you're very happy to hear that now. All right, I think we are done there with the module revision since there are no questions basically. So this is settled. I'm going to your exam briefing now. So it's basically here. These are the only things I wanted to highlight to you. It's on the 21st, which is 2 Mondays from now. I'm not sure if, I can't remember whether this is the first exam that you'll be taking, but maybe you have a morning exam or something. So it starts at 2:30. So officially, exactly at 2:30 p.m., your exam will start. I forgot who had the modal issue. I can't remember now all of a sudden because I had a few other submissions. If you have a modal issue on the day of exam, I'm telling you now, there is no point for you to try to contact me because on the day of the exam, there's nothing I can do anymore, right? It's very last minute. But if it's a whole week before and you have email admin and tell them that tell them of your issue and so on and so forth, you're worried your account will be locked and no one is responding to you, those I can help, right? But not on the day of the exam, coming to me at 2 p.m. half an hour before your exam and then saying, I cannot access the exam. So what should I do now? Yeah. To be honest, I would like to ask you the same question as well, because I really do not know what else can be done. Yeah. So Moodle access is obviously important. You would see the link is already made available there. Yeah. So under final exam, individual exam 60%, 21st of February. So when you click on it, this is, I'm assuming this is what you should see as well. Yeah, so there's only one attempt allowed. The quiz will not be available until exactly at 2:30 p.m. on that Monday. Yeah, the quiz will not close, as you can see, at 4:30, but the quiz will actually close at 4:45. Now, the reason being is that we are allowing this additional 15 minutes for you to submit your exam in case that there are some issues. Yeah, this is the extra 15 minutes you should take to submit your exam. Why? Because all 80 of you are going to be submitting at the same time. Yeah, all 80 of you are basically submitting at the same time. Well, again, it depends. Some of you can finish earlier and so on and so forth. Judging from your test, I am already anticipating some of you will be done within 1.5 hours or even lesser than that. Yeah. So there is more than enough time given to you. The last time when I gave you an hour for your class test, some of you were done in 35 minutes, some of you were done in 40 minutes, and you have submitted. And well, you did okay. I wouldn't say you did well, but you did okay, right? So then you are given the extra 15 minutes again. Yeah, I need to remind all of you, it's not for you to answer questions. Do not go more than 4:30 thinking that, oh, well, I have until 4:45 anyway, and you continue answering. At 4:30, you are supposed to already start to make sure that you are able to submit your exam. Be careful with this, right? You do not want to get into trouble just because of this. At exactly 4:45 p.m., whatever that you have done in the exam, it will be automatically submitted and you have no more access to the exam. Yeah, so it will just cut you off at that point of time at 4:45 and doesn't allow you to do anything anymore. All right, so please be very clear with that. There is a, it'll be 2 hours, and within the 2 hours, you will have 20 multiple choice questions, right? And 3 essays with sub questions within them in each of those essays, right? Some has 2, some has 3. I think all of them has 3, sorry. Yeah, so there are 3 essay questions. Each of them has an ABC, because we want. I just wanted to make sure that it will be broken down a bit clearer for you to see what exactly is being requested from you. All right. Okay. Quick question. You can type it in the chat. You can respond in the chat. How long should you spend out of your 2 hours for your multiple choice question? How long should you spend? Out of 2 hours, how long should you spend for your 20 multiple choice questions? Alam says 1 hour, 15 minutes. Oh, wow. Then the next answer is totally opposite. Uzma says 25 minutes max, which means you only have about 1 minute-ish per question. Yuan Ming says 30. Muhammad Bakar says, for the sub-questions, do we have to label each part or just answer the entire question as one essay? Good question by Bakar. Your first part is correct. So if the first question appears there, that it's labeled as A, I'm expecting to go down to your answer, look for A, and what is your answer for A? There's a sub-question, which is B. I will go down to your answer and look for B. When I do not see all A, B, C down there, I'm just going to read all of it and I roughly find where your answer is. And to be honest, that's when you don't score well. Yeah, so please structure it properly. That's my response to Muhammad Bakar. Crit says 20 minutes. Vivin says 40. Hassan says 27. Oh, wow. Cheng Hao says 30 to 40, 40 minutes max, 45 minutes. Okay, all right. So my suggestion is that you spend about 30 minutes. Yeah, you spend about 30 minutes. If you go anything more than 30 minutes, you have to start to be careful about it. So when I say 30 minutes, obviously, you know, every question you're only going to spend about 1.5 minutes per question. Yeah, 1.5 minutes per question. Now, I'm not asking you to rush this through, yeah, but it's so that you bear in mind that you know how much time you have used, right? To be honest, students of mine who have scored an A before, it's not because they are the best at remembering all of the answers. It's because they have very good time management during exam. Yeah, because when you have better time management during exam, you are calm, you don't panic, you are able to take the time to think about things which are more important. Yeah, so that's the reason they do well. Unlike some of them who are probably better at remembering things, but they rush through towards the end. They take their own sweet time, covering almost an hour for the multiple choice question, leaving the other hour for the essays and realizing that, oh, I've only done 2 questions and there's 15 minutes left. Yeah, so that's the issue, or rather that's the thing that you do not want to get involved with. So my suggestion is only a suggestion. You do not need to follow it to a T, but you can basically use about 30 minutes here, right? And which basically leaves you with the other 1.5 hours, 30 minutes for each, right? For per essay. Yeah. 30 minutes per essay, that leaves you with the other 1.5 hours. Here, 30 minutes here per question, honestly, is a very, very comfortable amount of time. Yeah, it's enough for you to use the first 5, even 10 minutes to just think about your answer without really rushing through what you intend to write there. Yeah, so this is my suggestion. Do take it into account. Yeah, time management is very important within your exam, so that you don't panic towards the end. All right. I think that is basically it. 2 hours exam, you have 20 multiple choice. The format is very similar to your tests. You will start off with all the multiple choice. Can you skip your multiple choice and go to your essay? You can, right? It will all be written there beside you. So just to be clear, yeah, you're going to see 23 questions. Yeah, you're going to see 23 questions. The first 20 is multiple choice. The last 3 is essay. So for essay number 21, after the multiple choice, you will see A, B, C, or A and B. For question 22, you will see A and B, A, B, C, and so on and so forth. Yeah, same thing for question number 23. So the last 3 essay questions are the ones that is the essays. Oh, I just realized. So this is going to worth 40% of the exam. Yeah, this is going to total up to 40% of the exam. Evidently, this will each come up to 20 marks each per essay question, which will come up to 60% overall. Yeah. So more or less, you can see the percentage here is also indicating to you how much time you should be spending, more or less. Yeah, how much time you should be spending in those areas. All right, so 40% here, 60% here, because each essay question is worth 20 marks, right? So answer that accordingly as you see that. Your whole exam, I think you should be aware of it by now. Your whole exam itself is 60%. Yeah, this is the whole exam on its own, because your assignment and everything else will come up to 40%. So let's just remove this before it confuses everyone else. I think I don't need to tell you, you shouldn't be leaving any questions empty. Number 1. Number 2 is that, what else? Oh, yeah. For those of you who are, here's the thing. I've gotten students who copy and pasted everything that they find from the slides. Yeah. Zero of it is your own analysis, yeah? It's all just copying, pasting off the slides. Now, you are going to get in trouble. Number one is that because I made the slides. When I read it, I know I'm reading from the slides if you copy pasted from the slides. Number two, the questions are always asking you to give examples and samples, and these are all from your own words, in your own words, yeah? So when it comes from in your own words, obviously, it shouldn't be something that looks like it came directly from the slides as well. So please be careful with that. Number three, if I have any suspicion for plagiarism, yeah, so that is something I will definitely check on. An indicator is being provided, of course. It is being indicated that if there is, if your work will be flagged if you have copied and pasted from any online resources. Yeah, but further checking into that will only then it will reveal whether your work is really copy pasted off online. Okay, so please don't get involved in all that, yeah? And that's basically it. Any questions here for the exam? Before I go to the last point, which is questions for your submission. So we are done with point number 2 as well. Any questions for the exam? Looks like we are good. There are 73 of you here. Okay, moving on. All right, so for your submission, I need to definitely clarify this in terms of who submit, how many of you are supposed to submit, and others are also supposed to click finalize and to click submit basically, yeah? So Muhammad Bakar has a question. For the essay questions, will it be about one general topic or a mix of topics? So I think you can definitely guess that it will be a mix of topics. Yeah, I just use all my time to give you a revision of 11 different topics. I don't think I would have come up with a question which is only covering 3 out of those 11 topics. Yeah, and on top of that, I think it would definitely be a waste of your time to study 8 other topics, knowing that they're not going to come up for your exam. Yes, for the multiple choice, but still, yeah. So it's going to be a mix of topic. All right, one person uploads, others verify. This just became an issue yesterday. Sorry, last Friday, because I had some of your seniors who are uploading and they are submitting their work. And these are final year students. Yeah. One of the team member uploaded. Yeah. One of the team member has already uploaded. A second team member decided to upload the same document again. Yeah. The team leader did not know about this, but the second team member who uploaded it obviously knows that there is already a document there, but she chose to upload the same document again. Yeah. Can I ask everyone here, what do you think will happen? You can respond in the chat. What do you think will happen? One team member has already uploaded. Second team member decided to upload the same document again. Okay, so Crit is correct. Well, Rifat and Asfar, basically you're correct as well. Nathan as well. The similarity percentage will increase. Similarity rates is very high. It's not very high, it's 100%. If it's anything lower than that, I'm wondering why as well. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it appeared on my end. I saw the work as 100% similarity. Yeah, so I went back to the student and tried finding out what happened. Only after inquiring from his own team members, he came back to me to say that one of our team members have uploaded the same document again. Yeah, please avoid this. That's all I can say. Because if yours is 99%, there is only so much I can say. I would not probably even spend time checking it. I'm just going to say I'm submitting a plagiarism report for this. You have to answer it. You have to answer questions in front of the board to then clarify all of that. Yeah. So let's not get into all that. One person uploads and the rest of you verify. As far as I'm aware of, in your group, I think some have already submitted actually. So let me just quickly, so you know where the link is, obviously under summative assessment. Yeah, you see group report, which is today, and you see the group presentation slide and video, which is 11th of February, which is this Friday. Yeah, so the main one that we're talking about is tonight. As you can see, this is my view. I can already see that out of 18 groups, two groups are still a draft, which means it's not officially submitted yet. 4 of your groups have already submitted. Yeah, you have already submitted. So when I view all the submissions, this is what I will see. And the reason I'm showing this because I just wanted to ask the groups who have submitted if they faced any issues while submitting or not. So let me just probably make this a bit smaller. I wanted to change the status here. Okay, all right. I see Pink Panda and Red Panda here. So first things first, let me just ask Pink Panda. Shin Tian, are you there? I'm assuming that's a no. Ayame, are you there? Oh, all right. Can you switch on your can you switch on your microphone? All right, so that's a no, I guess. I can in 5 minutes. All right, no worries. I'm just moving on to, I'll move on to another Pink Panda group mate later. Harish, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. In your group, who uploaded the work?
Aiden did.
Aiden uploaded. Then
Yep.
The rest of you, so you click on submit, right?
Verify. Yeah.
To verify it. What did you find it to be a difficult thing to do?
At the start, before we submitted, we were trying to look for it so that we don't like suddenly get shocks. But at the start, before the initial document has been submitted, you can't see anything. Only once the person submits the thing, then only you'll see the verify button.
Okay, if no one has submitted anything yet, obviously the rest of
You
you
don't
are
see
not.
the. Yeah.
Okay, so after Aiden uploaded it, the rest of you will just need to click submit, right?
Yep.
So it was you. Who else?
Asfar, Hongjae, and Asfar.
And Asfar. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So as all of you can see, thank you, Harish. As all of you can see, once every team member has clicked and submitted, right, and verified it, it will be shown to me here as submitted for grading. Yeah, it will be shown to me here as submitted for grading. I see Brown Gazelle is done as well. So Zen-E, Renjo, Hankit, Johnson, Pritisha as part of Pink Panda. Who's the other one? White Tiger. Samuel, are you there?
Yes, sir. I had Sutesh submit for me.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I had Sutesh submit the group assignment for me.
Oh, Sutesh was one who uploaded.
Yeah, then we all agree.
I see. Did you face any issues?
No problem at all. No problem.
Okay, all right, no problem. All right, thank you. I just want to hear from Brown Gazelle. Zen-E, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Any issues with submitting when you were all submitting?
No, everything is okay.
Was it easy? Any issues?
No issues.
Oh, hey, all right. So Zen-E had nothing much to say. All right, moving on. Okay, so for some of you here is the one that, as you can see on my end, it shows here as draft, not submitted. It is clearly mentioned here that it is not submitted. Yeah. Let me see. Wei Huan is saying, oh, just nice. I'm showing Wei Huan, and Wei Huan is asking a question. Is it supposed to be less than 15%? Yes, it's supposed to be less than 15%. So for the sake of that, I'm just going to open Wei Huan's submission here. Yeah. So what I can see here, right? So this is the part that I needed to show. I submitted just for similarity checking. Oh, then you have done a very big mistake, Wei Huan. I will talk to you in a while. So this is to everyone else. For Black Orca, right? Draft not submitted. It is clearly showing me who did not submit, who did not click submit. Yeah. So obviously, as Wei Huan has mentioned in the chat, he has uploaded just because he wanted to check on similarities. Yeah. And it's shown here to me that Bani, Alam, Crit, even Wei Huan are the users who need to submit. Yeah, because then Wei Huan has only uploaded, he did not click submit yet. So if let's say some of the members here have clicked submit, I will see the remaining members who has yet to click submit as well. Yeah. So please don't get into issues as such. You will definitely need to ensure every team member is able to click. One team member doesn't click, the whole group, it's considered you did not submit your assignment. Yeah. Like I said, I'm willing to offer you help, but I will only help if you come to me early enough, right? This is already tonight, so please ensure that all of you have access to Moodle properly. You know exactly what to do. You know when you're supposed to get in and click submit and so on and so forth. Yeah. Back to Wei Huan. I thought I showed you guys this before the break, and I didn't realize, and I'm very shocked to see you doing it again. To see you doing that. I gave all of you a link for you to check. Yeah, I gave all of you a link for you to check your similarity report. You shouldn't be uploading it into where the official submission is, because when you do that, a lot of your work would have been included into the database. Yeah, so when it is included into the database, it will only become an issue to you after this, even though you would have removed your submission, uploaded it again, and so on and so forth. I will. Oh, now it's not appearing. Right, so I've already given this to all of you. I've given you this link. You just need to click on it here. Try to view similarity report for your submission from Turnitin here, right? And this is a separate link that you then go in and submit before the official module submission. So you do it at a different link so that you can check it there. You fix whatever you need to fix, and then you come back to our link here and you make the submissions here. Yeah. So I hope everyone else does not make this mistake. For Wei Huan, you obviously know that there's going to be a problem because your similarity now is at 63%. Yeah. So please take note of that. Fix that now. So moving on. Yeah, that's basically what I needed to show everyone. Obviously, the rest here, you have not submitted anything yet, so it is shown as no submission. The other one, which is your presentation slide and video. So this one here, so yeah, I've already mentioned similarity report should be less than 15%. Presentation meeting recording. So I am encouraging you to upload the video onto Moodle together with the slides. Yeah, reason being is that when our examiners are checking on your presentation and they want to view your presentation, it's much more easier that they view the video file itself, because if it's only the link being provided and the link is only available to you and me because we are in the same Teams channel. But if someone else is viewing this, they are not able to access the video. So it is better that you upload the video. Yeah, you can easily just click on download, then upload the video onto the link. I've already enabled the link so that to ensure that you are able to upload as many. You're able to upload all the way up to a few hundred megabytes. Is not going to be an issue. Yeah. And the Teams meeting video should not be going up that much and that high anyway. So do ensure that the meeting is recorded, because then that is what you'll be referring to for your submission. Yeah. Since one group has done it, I think it's only fair that I will need to quickly use you as a sample for the rest of you to take note of. Yeah. So I forgot whose group is it already. Was it Black Koala? I think it was Black Koala. Yes. Okay, so if you all can notice here, they have done their presentation. Yeah, all right. So they start the meeting on their own. They have stopped, they have done the recording. The recording has stopped, is saving it. So this is the finalized recording that is provided, yeah, in their channel, yeah. And Nathan then comes to tag me and to say that this is our group recording. So at the point that you tag me and mention this, I will consider this your official submission. You will obviously need to do this before the 11th of February. Yeah. So I will just give a quick like reaction to show you that I have taken note of it, and I know and I have accepted that this is your submission for your video, for your presentation recording. Okay, so please take note, everyone must be able, this is what you are expected to do. Yeah. Not to forget, when you're uploading it, is not only the video, you will be uploading your presentation slides as well, whatever your presentation slides is. Okay, so I see Jet says, the 3 essays are scaring me. 30 minutes. Wow, Jet, you're quite delayed. Suddenly out of nowhere, the exam came back in. 30 minutes, the 3 essays are scaring me. That's very normal. Things that we are not aware of and we don't know about are always things that will scare us. Things that we know of, I don't think are the ones that will scare us. Saan is saying, I have not shared the previous test marks. Oh, thank you for highlighting that. I've already marked it, so probably after today, I will enable it, so all of you can see out of your 10%, what do you get? Yeah, all right. I will make that available to everyone. And yeah, that pretty much covers it. I'm done with my whole agenda. Questions regarding anything about the submission, anything about this week? Any more questions? People who are not listening to me. I just answered Saad's question. Yeah, sorry, who's it?
I'm Ching Hao from Black Koala. Like we recorded the video, right? Like
Yeah.
how do we download it actually?
Oh, okay. As far as I know, you are able to see it, but hold on. So this is now on my shared screen. You see this is the video, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay. When you click on it, as far as I'm aware of, you should be able to see it as well. Unless if you cannot, let me know, yeah? Do you not see the word download on the top here?
Oh, okay,
So
I see.
Yeah, just double check on your end. As far as I know, there should be a download button as well. You just need to download this and then upload it. That's it. Okay, so if you don't have it, then let me know. All right. And then Jamil says, my network is bad. Yeah, that statement can be used for a lot of things. But well, I'm not blaming you either. But it's just that when I'm being pushed to repeat something again and again, of course, I will need to highlight it. Jamil is back. That's when we get the results. Yes. Actually, rather than doing that, let me just do it now. Since some of you are very concerned with your test results. Grades. So for those of you who get to know it now, what difference does it make? No difference, right? Okay. Oh, wait. So remember, yeah, this class test is for 10%, yeah? It's for 10% out of your whole Oh, wait, I thought I was able to. Okay. I will do it in a bit. Because I suddenly realized I'm not able to open it for everyone. But I will do it in a bit. Living in Africa. Yes, you will get it tomorrow. Things here are wild. Everywhere is Jamil. But I think everyone in every country can still use the statement that my network is bad. To be honest, yeah, I'm just being very honest. We have been doing this for 2 years now. You think students in Malaysia don't say the network is bad? They do as well. But anyway, moving on. Any other questions? Any other questions? Nope, we are good. I just need to find out from students tomorrow. Yeah, I just need to find out from students tomorrow. I have a class with you tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Yeah, and I need to find out if there's anyone coming to class. As far as I'm aware of, no one has texted me until now. And as usual, if there's no one coming, I will just basically be online. Yeah. Okay, all right. I'm seeing more and more. Jamil is saying this at the end of the whole semester. Yeah. But does that mean you have been doing this? You have not been around for the first 12 weeks of this semester? I'm only seeing you saying this now. Oh, well, if that's what you went through. But don't worry, you know there's a recording of this. You can still go and look at it anyway. Yeah. Anywho, like I said, because of the pandemic time difference, some students are coming to me and said, sir, my class with you is at 3 a.m. Where I am. And my immediate response is that, is it your fault? Is it my fault? Is it the university's fault? And the answer is all three is a no. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? Right? Yeah. Like what you're telling me now, internet is a problem. Yes, I understand. But what are you proposing that we do now? What do we do next? Yeah. You find a way to get a recording later. We then review it. You can ask me the question. You can obviously ask me these questions even outside of class, yeah, when the test result would be, for example. But anyway, before I continue blabbering like an old man, all right. As soon as I say that, Jamil, see, my fellow Malaysian student is also saying the same thing. You see, my internet is very bad. It took a while to send. It doesn't matter where we are. We all have our own problems. It's more important that we all try understanding each other, that we all may have problems, which include me. Yeah, a lot of students don't see that. They just keep seeing that. Yeah, you know, we as students, we have a lot of problems. But sometimes you should also just take the perspective and to say that, yeah, actually sometimes my lecturer may also have problems. But anyway, I am basically done. Yeah. I'm not sure how many times I've said that. Let's go to your attendance. The most exciting time of the day. All right. Oh, yeah. That was a question I was just asking. I'm assuming no one is coming to campus tomorrow. Last week, who was it? I think it was Mohib. Mohib, are you here? I have to ask Mohib because Mohib came all the way to campus before last week's break. And apparently only then he found out that the class is not hybrid. And he had to travel all the way back, which I do not want him to go through that again. So Mohib, are you here? Or am I still, or as usual, you're missing again? 2 hours lecture. So I hope everyone takes note that there's no class this Thursday, yeah? Because this is replacing, today's class is replacing Thursday's class. So I'm assuming Mohib is not here since it's not responding to me. Okay, so once you are done, thank you very much. Take care, everyone. I'll see you during your tutorial. Yeah. Oh, I just realized, what about on Friday? Anyone is coming on Friday? Are you still coming to campus? The main reason I'm asking this is that as you will see, the number of cases has been increasing a lot in the last 1 or 2 days. Yeah. And that number is going to continue increasing. Even the ministry has already released that statement saying that everyone take care, stay safe. The numbers are going up. So I just wanted to find out if all of you will be, those of you who usually come to class, will you still be coming on Friday? At least for those of
Yeah,
you.
I think so. I
those-
coming. I come here for Friday and Thursday.
Okay, but oh no, Yuan Ming, you are not my Friday class. I was speaking, sorry, yeah. I was speaking to those students of mine, the CT students.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Thank you, Nathan. Heidi, trying to switch on your camera. I don't see anyone responding about my Friday statement, but anyway.
Sir, the Friday statement, could we reply like Wednesday or Thursday?
Okay. We'll see how. I will ask you that question in the channel as well, because if
Yeah.
the numbers are definitely increasing, yeah, I think is that's the reason I'm asking, rather than I come all the way and I see no one in class anyway. So all right, no problem.
Excuse
You're
me, sir.
responding.
Can you help me sign the attendance?
Okay. Why? What happened?
My QR is not scanning.
Okay, done.
Okay, thanks.
Then I see Rifat saying what? Rifat, I thought it's done, no? Yeah, it's done. Nihat says, sir, when is the class test? OMG. Nihat, are you there? Nihat, are you there? You're asking about the exam, right? Not the test, right? Because you have done the test. The exam is on the 21st of February. Okay. Yeah.
I think I remember like one day you said we're going to have a class test from chapter 6 until the end of the chapter 11, I think. The first test we did from chapter 1 to chapter 6. Oh, I'm confused, man.
Oh, okay. There is no class test for chapter 7 to it's only the first class test, which was chapter 1 and chapter 6, and it's straight away to the exam. The exam covers all the chapters again. Is that clear, Nihat?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So if that's it, there's no questions from everyone. Thank you. Take care. I'll see you during your tutorial. So tomorrow's tutorial is online, yeah, by the way, for those who I'm seeing you tomorrow morning.